Shocking allegations have been circulating that French President Emmanuel Macron is married to a man. His wife Brigitte Macron is alleged to have been born a biological man and transitioned to a woman. This story keeps getting crazier and crazier. We're going to cover the latest developments this week on Wolves in Finance. 2 months ago, an American journalist named Candace Owens made global headlines when she covered this story on her podcast. After posting her video on YouTube, she posted this tweet, where she said, "After looking into this, I would stake my entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man." This tweet was posted on March 12th. Something has happened since then that I don't think anyone has realized. Candace Owens' video has disappeared from YouTube. When you click on the link from the Twitter post, it takes you to a page that says, "This video isn't available anymore." Within 2 months, the video is gone. I'm scared for Candace Owens' safety. Can someone please go check to see if she's all right? Is she being blackmailed? Is she being threatened? As far as I know, she's given no explanation why she took this video down. What's going on? I don't understand how Candace Owens can go from saying that she's going to stake her entire professional reputation on that video and then take the video down. Taking the video down is the exact opposite of staking your professional reputation. Not only is the video taken down, but Candace Owens made a follow-up video on this whole controversy, and the second video is also taken down. I don't understand how that happens unless something sinister is going on. We need to protect Candace Owens. Now, don't worry too much, because something magical happens on the internet. Once you post something, it has a tendency to stick around. I checked the Wayback Machine, which is a machine that captures old versions of web pages in case they get deleted. It turns out there's an archived version of Candace Owens' video before she deleted it. So if you want, you can still go watch it. I'm going to put the links on my website, wolvesinfinance.com, to both of Candace's deleted videos. I hope the Wayback Machine saves my video in case it gets deleted. Before I get into the allegations about whether Brigitte Macron is transgender, let me just address something. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from people accusing me of being anti-transgender and spreading hate about transgender people. That is not true. I have friends who are transgender. I live in America, and we believe in freedom. If you're an adult, and that's how you want to live your life, you should be free to do so as long as you're not impacting anyone else. But I also believe that it is a valid question to ask whether your president is in a secret transgender relationship. Because these political leaders are advocating for transgender laws that strip the rights away from everyone else. They are taking away parents' rights to raise their children. They're taking away your right to free speech by forcing you to use people's pronouns. They're taking away the rights from biological women to compete in their own sports teams. Your rights are being taken away from you and given to transgender people. And in many cases, you're not even allowed to debate whether it's fair or not. So whether Brigitte Macron is actually a biological man is an important question. Because if Brigitte is a biological man, that means the French president is advocating for laws that benefit his wife at the expense of the French people. Not only that, he would be lying about it and covering it up. That would be corruption. Just to use the example of women's sports, we have biological women who have worked their entire lives to become the best in the world at their sport. And now the Olympic Committee has come out with rules that allow biological men to compete against the biological women. Do you know how hard it is to get to the Olympics? Not a single one of those women's slots should be going to a biological man. It's just not fair to women. So now we have the Olympic Games coming up in 2 months in June. Guess where they're going to be? In France. And the Games are going to be overseen by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte. So as you watch the television, and you see these women's medals be given to biological men, I hope you realize that it is absolutely a legitimate question to ask whether your president is having a secret sexual relationship with a biological man. And don't let anyone tell you that it is not a legitimate question, because it is affecting all our lives. If they're going to take away sports from us, they better let us ask some questions. So let's start with the first issue. There have been rumors for some time that Emmanuel Macron is gay. There have been a number of men who were allegedly his secret lovers. There was his security guard, Alexandre Bonella. There was the former CEO of Radio France, Mathieu Gallet. There are all these rumors that he is sleeping with these men. By the way, that's not normal. It's not normal to have so many rumors about you sleeping with gay men. Then there is Emmanuel Macron's extremely close relationship with the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Just look at this picture. Emmanuel Macron is looking at Justin Trudeau in a really creepy way. Is anyone else seeing this? Why is he looking at him like that? Is there anyone else who thinks that he is having gay sex with the Canadian Prime Minister? Whenever they're together, they're hugging and kissing. Look at this picture. It's like they can't keep their hands off each other. French people, I don't know if you realize this, but your president seems kind of gay. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. If Emmanuel Macron wants to be gay, he should just go off and be gay. Then the rumor started that Emmanuel Macron's wife was actually born a man. There's actually a lot of evidence that Brigitte Macron is a biological man dressing like a woman. There's so much evidence that I cannot even cover it all in this video. But for those who are not aware, I will give you a brief summary. When people started looking into Brigitte Macron's past, a lot of it does not make sense, or it doesn't seem to exist. Here's an alleged photo of Brigitte as a child. Brigitte is supposed to be the baby girl in the photo. But what's strange is that Brigitte looks an awful lot like the boy in the photo. The boy is supposed to be the brother named Jean-Michel. So the allegation is that Brigitte is actually the boy in this photo. Here's a side-by-side. Don't they look like the same person? They do to me. The story is that this boy grew up, married, and had 3 children, and then transitioned to become a woman named Brigitte. The question is, how would Brigitte pull this off? They would have had to create fake names and identities. How would Brigitte have created that? The theory is that Brigitte was assisted by an uncle, Jean-Louis Azier, whose family has close ties to the French Secret Service. The Secret Service in France is called the Directorate General for External Security. They are the equivalent of the CIA in the US. They're spies. Keep in mind that France has one of the most sophisticated Secret Service forces in the world. So if Brigitte was going to create a fake identity, this guy who has ties to the spy agency is the person who could do it. So the real conspiracy here is that the French Secret Service created Brigitte, then installed Emmanuel Macron as president so that they could blackmail him into doing whatever they wanted. He would be a puppet president. Think about it. If a president had a big secret, like if the president was secretly married to a man, people could blackmail the president to do anything they wanted. To be fair, Brigitte Macron disputes these claims. Brigitte says that Jean-Michel is a brother. Brigitte also says that the 3 children were born from a previous marriage that ended in divorce. Here's the problem. no one can find the brother, Jean-Michel. It's like he doesn't exist. All record of him disappears as soon as records of Brigitte start to appear. That's strange timing. Also, no one can find the ex-husband, and now they're allegedly claiming that the ex-husband is now dead. What a coincidence! It's very strange that all these people from Brigitte's past are disappearing. What's also strange is that no one can seem to produce the birth certificate for Jean-Michel. Where is the birth certificate? If the allegations are true, then Jean-Michel's birth certificate would actually be Brigitte's birth certificate. Is that why no one can produce the birth certificate? Then there are the photos. Now let me just explain. These are not doctored photos. These are actual photos taken from press events. Take a look at this photo. Is that a bulge? Am I the only person who sees this? That looks like a bulge to me under that dress. How about this photo? This looks to me like a man. French people, when are you going to wake up? Let's get to the part of the story that everyone agrees on. Everyone agrees that the following facts are true. Later in life, Brigitte was working as a woman as a school teacher. While working, Brigitte met Emmanuel Macron, who was a 14-year-old student in the class. Brigitte and Emmanuel fell in love. Now hold on a minute. I'm not an expert in French laws, but in America, that's called child molesting. Let me repeat. If this happened in America, Brigitte would be in prison for being a child molester. What's even creepier is Emmanuel Macron was in the same class as Brigitte's own daughter. That's pretty sick. Then Emmanuel Macron decided to marry his child molester girlfriend. Here's my question to all you French people. Why did you elect this person as your president? Now, I don't know for sure whether or not Brigitte Macron is a biological man. I'm not doing the same thing that Candace Owens did. She staked her entire professional reputation that Brigitte Macron was a man. I don't know how she could say that without looking at Brigitte's dress. But there are some things that would tell us for sure. Brigitte could take a DNA test. A person can transition and pretend to be a woman all they want, but they cannot change their XY chromosomes. I don't understand why Brigitte does not just take a DNA test. That would have ended this whole discussion. Why won't Brigitte take a DNA test? And just to clarify, the test cannot be performed by the French Secret Service. Brigitte would have to go give her DNA to an independent third party so that people could test the DNA for themselves. I would not believe a document generated by the Secret Service. Let me point something else out that I've not heard people talk about. I've been looking at a lot of pictures of Brigitte Macron. Has anyone noticed how big Brigitte's hands are? They're massive. Those are some giant man hands. Am I the only person to notice this? Brigitte could palm a basketball with those hands. Look at this photo with Brigitte Macron standing next to Melania Trump. Brigitte's hands are like twice the size. I would be scared to shake Brigitte's hand because I could be crushed by those hands. Just another point that seems pretty suspicious. So is Brigitte a man? Is Brigitte not a man? I don't know, but I do know that Emmanuel Macron's actions in this situation are very suspicious. He is certainly acting like this is a massive cover-up. The president actually spoke out about the rumors. It was reported in the Daily Mail that Emmanuel Macron said, "The worst thing is the false information and fabricated scenarios. People eventually believe them and disturb you, even in your intimacy." What is he talking about? He said, even in your intimacy? What does that mean? Does that mean he's no longer sexually attracted to his manly wife? Or does that mean he's impotent and cannot get it up? This is not me saying this. This is your president's own words. He's the one saying this is affecting his intimacy. I think he should explain what he meant by that. Because not only could your president be gay, he could also be impotent. Why are you supporting this man? But what struck me the most about Emmanuel Macron's statement is that he does not actually dispute the allegation. Did you notice that? He said, false information. Well, that could mean anything. Why did he not address the actual situation? Do you realize that he's never actually come out and said the words, Brigitte Macron was not born a biological man? Why does he never say that? Isn't that a bit strange? He always talks in vague statements like falsehoods and conspiracy theories, but he never addresses the actual allegations. That's very suspicious. Then Brigitte Macron sued the 2 French journalists who were reporting on the story. Now, I'm sorry, that's not the way to stop rumors. Why won't Brigitte produce evidence proving her biological sex? And then the story would just go away. Instead, Brigitte is trying to sue people to silence them. That's not going to work. That sounds more like a cover-up. When you look into what happened at the trial, it gets even more strange. The lawsuit was first filed against the reporters for violation of privacy. That's strange, because if Brigitte is claiming that they're lying about her, why wouldn't they be sued for telling a lie? As it turns out, the judge threw out the case because it should have been filed as a defamation case. So only later did Brigitte file it again as defamation. So now as a defamation case, Brigitte has to prove that what the reporters were saying is a lie. How did Brigitte go about proving the case? They did not produce a DNA test. They did not produce the long-lost missing brother. They did not provide proof of the missing ex-husband. They did not provide any birth certificates. What did happen was they called the uncle to testify, the same person with ties to the Secret Service. The uncle testified that Brigitte was not telling a lie. This was the same uncle who supposedly helped set the whole thing up. They're putting someone on the stand with close ties to the Secret Service, and he's saying, just trust me, I'm not a spy. There's absolutely no spying going on. Excuse me if I don't find his testimony very credible, especially when Brigitte could have produced the DNA. It turns out that the reporters agreed to settle the case, take down their social media posts, and one reporter had to pay a fine of 850 euro, and the other reporter had to pay 400 euro. That's the smallest defamation penalty I have ever heard of. In Donald Trump's ridiculous defamation trial in New York, he was ordered to pay E. Jean Carroll $83 million because of a mean tweet. 400 euro? What is going on? Here's what I think. Journalists don't make very much money. It takes hundreds of thousands to defend yourself in lawsuits. This is lawfare. These journalists were probably thinking, let me just pay the 400 euro so I can get the crazy person with the big hands to stop suing me. They were probably just trying to avoid the future lawyer fees. This whole court case did not prove the allegations one way or the other. It looks to me more like another giant cover-up. So why would they be trying so hard to cover this up? Could it be that Emmanuel Macron is trying to cover up fraud? Think about it. Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron were married in 2007. Gay marriage in France was not made legal until 2013. If Emmanuel Macron married a biological man, that means his marriage is invalid. If that's the case, to be legal, he would have to get married again. If Emmanuel Macron is not married, that makes Brigitte some random person he's sleeping with. If he is claiming Brigitte is his wife, and that's not true, that is fraud. He is spending taxpayer dollars based on this lie. I am sure there is a large government budget dedicated to supporting Brigitte because Brigitte is supposedly the wife of Emmanuel Macron. There are probably government employees whose whole salaries are being paid to support Brigitte. There is probably a publicist, a scheduler, security, travel expenses, and who knows what else. That is your taxpayer dollars being spent based on a lie. Now, I'm not an expert in French laws, so please comment below if I'm correct about this, but I'm pretty sure misusing taxpayer dollars is a crime. And with the amount of money we're talking about here, I'm pretty sure it is punishable by a prison sentence. Your hard-earned money is being paid to support someone who may not even be the president's wife. Doesn't that make you upset? Why is your president not being prosecuted for this? In order to pull this off, how many government forms did these people lie on? Potentially a marriage certificate? What other forms were fraudulently created? How many crimes are we talking about here? If Brigitte is transgender, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being transgender, but don't lie about it on government documents in order to get taxpayer dollars. That's a crime. I don't understand why people aren't speaking out about this. Are people afraid that if they say something, that Brigitte Macron will come after them like with those reporters? Brigitte Macron, if you think you're going to try and come after me, guess what? I'm an American, and we have something called freedom of speech. And do you know who we learned that from? The French. A lot of people don't know about this, but there was a really important person during the American Revolutionary War who was French. His name was Lafayette. He joined the Revolutionary Army to fight alongside the Americans as a major general when he was 19 years old. He commanded troops in the Battle of Yorktown that won America's independence, and he became good friends with our first president, George Washington. The French inspired our nation to seek liberty and freedom. So if you people in France have a government who's trying to silence you and keep you from asking questions, just remember who you are. You are the French. Your opinion matters. What you think matters. And don't let anyone tell you anything different. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that Brigitte Macron is a man? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Quick update, the new website launched on Friday at wolvesandfinance.com, and it has been so much fun. People have been posting and chatting on the website, and it is really great to hear from you members on what you really think. If you want to become a channel member, you can sign up on the website for $6 a month. It's the best way to support the channel. You know I've been struggling with shadow bans and demonetization, so your support helps me to keep making these videos. So a big thank you to all my members. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.